A very good day to Dr. Wahab, and I'm USHALNI Sureras Nair in semester 6, Master in Education students in OUMGB. So today the purpose of my video is actually to propose for my title for research seminar paper. So I would like to start with the topic first, and my title is actually a study on the management of students disciplinary policy and implementation in secondary school and its impact towards students discipline management. So we are just actually in this research, the researcher plans to look on how does this policies and how does it implemented in schools and how does it affect the students. So basically this research was done through qualitative method, and also from this research the researcher will be able to find out the common issues relating to the students. What are the common issues that actually the students facing in schools, and how does the school handles towards the issues. So I would like to start with the introduction part. So for the introduction part, we can look here that the researcher stated that teachers nowadays, they are too concerned about the students' violence and their attitude in school. They do not obey to the rules, and they are involving a lot of problems, especially in schools. So the researcher thinks that the students must be able to follow the rules and regulation. It means the policy, because it will teach them on how to be calm, and then social development, and then they have to enhance their emotional, and then they have to increase their mental process and everything. This was actually, the policy will actually makes them to resolve, not 100%, but at least a little bit from the discipline issues. So other than that, the researcher also said that this discipline issues most probably comes from not only their self, actually their surrounding. Anything can actually makes them, trigger them to involve in discipline problem. So for the problem statement here is, the researcher has said that students in school, involving students' disciplinary problem is actually based on a lot of minor paths. So first of all, like they are coming late to school, and then they miss their lessons, and then they even smoke in the toilet, and then they do vandalism, they talk rude words to the teachers, and a lot of things, everything. Wherever they go around school, they create problems. But problems in each schools are not same as the rest. It means that maybe school A, they will be having this kind of problem. Maybe the students are more to this vandalism, and maybe school B, they will be more to this maybe disobey teachers. They are too rude to teachers, they use bad words and everything. So it depends, it's not same in each and every school. Okay, why? Maybe that school, the problems actually, the disciplinary problem comes from the students actually triggered by their socio-economic status, their background, where are they from, how is their family. Everything actually gives an impact. So that is the problem statement that we could the researcher actually able to find. And also in some schools, if you see that, usually the common place where this discipline problems occur are by the stairwells, corridors, cafeterias. They almost fight, they bully people, and everything happens over there. So this have to be done something. That is the reason why the researcher thinks of this topic, to find out a policy on how the leadership skill can actually make sure the students follow the rules and actually change their self. Okay, so the research objective for this research will be like to evaluate the level of students discipline among the students discipline in this Johor Bahru district, and also the influencing factors. What are the factors that influence to their discipline problem? First of all, we evaluate, and then we find out the factors that influence influence to that, and the implementation towards students' discipline management. So how does it implement it? How actually from the factors, how are we going to implement this? And also for the research questions, there are 3 research questions stated by the researcher. The first one is the level of students' discipline among secondary school students in Johor Bahru, and also what are the influence factors, and also into what extent the relationship between effectiveness of disciplinary policy towards the schools in secondary school in JB. So it means like how effective is the effectiveness of the policy that is created towards the student. It means how they actually, do they follow or do they ignore? So how effective is it? These are the 3 research questions stated by the researcher. So for the literature review here, the researcher has gone through around 50 articles relating to different disciplinary issues all around the world. So the first one, they look at the factors that actually contribute disciplinary issues. Okay, there are a few factors actually. When you look at it, it can be the school itself, I mean the environment in the school, or else the way the teacher treats them. Sometimes it means like the teachers are too strict and they are not firm, they are too strict. Sometimes this will actually trigger the students itself to involve in disciplinary problem. Also the learning environment. If the learning environment is not peaceful, then this is one of the factors where the students will be involving in the disciplinary issues. And also the next one, you can look at parents. As students are spending more time at home basically, and if you look at home parents, there are 2 types of parents, where one is the parents who actually give advice and everything. Another one, they follow this punitive and also rewarding style. So when the students at home, for example, the kids did something wrong, the parents tend to punish them, give them punishment, scolding them, smack them. These are all this punitive way. Okay, punitive way. So when they go to this punitive way, the students have an idea, oh, this is how we are going to punish people. And some students, some people, some parents, they actually follow this rewarding style. They reward for something that you do good. So the rewarding part is okay, it's good, it's not going to involve anything. But the punitive way, the students will bring that to school. How? The students will bully the schoolmates. They will smack, they will actually do whatever they gone through at home towards their friends. They will actually do that. They will kick them, they will smash them, they will do everything with them. Okay, another one will be the school climate. Okay, let's talk about school climate. It means it involves the teachers, the staffs, the management. How is the management? Is it a friendly type of management, or how are they handling the students? Or they are too firm, they handle the kids in a very rude way? This all involves. So the school climate are also one of the factor. And also if you look at the next part of the literature review here, is the researcher actually found out the approach in changing inappropriate behavior. So how you can actually change their inappropriate behavior? Actually, it's a process of altering the behavior itself. You can't straight away change them. It should be go through procedures, it should be go through process in order to actually change their mindset. Okay, in order to change their mindset and come to our way, it will follow the rules and regulation. It's not easy that today you scold them, tomorrow they will follow. No, there will be different policies and implementation that you need to follow in order to make them follow. It means it actually involving in leadership. So the topic actually relating back to leadership. Okay, so for the theoretical framework, there are 2 frameworks chosen here. The first one is trait theory, another one is transformational theory. If you look at trait theory is actually looking at if you are being a leader, you must have a different perspective from your workers or the person who is below than you. So as a leader, when we are talking about leadership, especially the principal in schools, the management, they must have this trait theory where they have this supernatural power, it seems like the qualities which is different from their co-workers in order to solve the problem. So they must have this trait which is the qualities to handle the problem and so on. Another one is transformational theory. It actually engage, okay, between the management, the teachers, the parent, everybody, they involve together. The ideas that came out from the management, okay, the leadership that they have, they actually shares with their co-partner. Together they try to resolve the problem. So they will be having an objective. Not only the management will solve, but everybody involved, then they will solve it together. That is how it will be successful. Okay, and then let's talk about conceptual framework. So first of all, for this research, the independent variable is policy in disciplinary management, implementation of disciplinary management. So the policy and the implementation is the independent variable, and the dependent obviously will be the effectiveness in disciplinary management. Okay, how? So when the policy is created and implemented, that is how the effectiveness can be seen. So if there is no policy and implementation, obviously the effectiveness can't be seen. So the effectiveness is actually based depending on the policy and implementation. So they have to create a policy based on the leadership skill and then implement it, and you can see the effectiveness of the school, the students in discipline, behaviors of their discipline and everything. So let's talk about research method. Okay, first of all, this research was conducted through deep interview, and it's supposed to be conducted face-to-face interview and observation, but due to this pandemic, it was actually made into a phone call. So the research actually done in deep interview, and it is done between the secondary schools in Johor Bahru district only. The researcher do not choose other states or other district, only Johor Bahru district secondary school. Okay, and it was done through the principals, the discipline teachers, the students itself, to get their perception. Okay, how does the teacher tells, how does the parents tells, and how does the student itself feel? What is it? Okay, and then you can see here the research instrument here is, the first one will be qualitative approach. Okay, the qualitative approach where we done interview and also observation. Actually it's their observation. Okay, why we do it is to elicit information from their opinion on what do they really think of this discipline problems and everything, because students might be having different opinion, teachers might be having different opinion. So the researcher gathers all the information, okay, and try to evaluate it. Okay, so the next one is sample and sampling method. The sample are 6 informants from one school. So it means 2 principal, 2 discipline teacher, two from the management, discipline teacher and principal, and then 2 students and 2 parents. It means that parents also involved, the students also involved, the school also involved, everybody look at it. Okay, there are 5 schools chosen. In a school there are 6 of them chosen. In a school 6 of them chose. So 5 schools, around 30. So there are 5 schools in Johor Bahru district, and the sampling method was done by snowball purposive sampling technique. It's a snowball technique. Okay, and if you look at the data collection procedure, okay, for the data collection procedure, it will be take most probably around 2 months to conduct this research. Okay, because first of all, the schools, the researcher must actually get the consent from the schools, okay, and then they must go through this interview with the school management first of all, because the school management needs to know what are we trying to do. So we have to ask permission and everything, so we have to discuss with the school management first on how are we going to conduct the interview. Is it going to disturb their lesson, or it's going to disturb their test time or anything, because it involves all these people. Because when it involves parents, students and teachers, we must find out a suitable time in order to conduct the research, okay. So and then the phone call, it is done by through phone call, obviously, because we can't face directly. So each of them will okay, once the school give permission, and they will give them the sample, who are the person we can contact to get the information and everything. We can deal with the person for the best time. The researcher deals the best time according to both sides, which one is the best time to conduct the interview, because the interview will be around 30 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so they will discuss about it. So during the interview, the researcher will actually record and transcribe it. Okay, so there will be a recording, and also at the same time the researcher will observe it. How sometimes it is more good when you observe. So the researcher will try to get permission to go into the mid lesson and try to observe how are actually the students behaving, because due to this pandemic, a lot of problems occur through online learning as well, where the students do not cooperate. So from that, the recording, everything, the researcher will transcribe it, okay, in order to come up with what is the findings later on. So for now, they just do it this way. So for the data analysis, the data obtained from the interview will be transcribed verbally and using thematic approach. Okay, the interviews that are recorded and raw transcript of the will be used. So it means will be recorded, they will transcribe and do it everything on that way. So basically, this research will be done, okay, involving secondary school students, 5 school children. So they will look at the causes, what are the problems the students are facing, and then from the causes, they will try to come out with a policy and implement it. Okay, and then we will look at the effectiveness. So the effectiveness is chapter 4 and chapter 5. For now, it's just a proposal, or the researcher is proposing to conduct this interview based on all these criteria. There are 3 research questions. The first one is to look at the cause, and then try to come up with a policy, and also how does the policy implement it. So that's all. So I would like to say very gratitude to Dr. Wahab for helping me a lot throughout my research proposal journey. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.